Welcome back to another cooking video. I'm Chef Devaux, and today I'm going to teach you how to make a delicious sushi roll with steak tataki drooped on top. So to start with, I'm going to make the sauces, then I'm going to assemble the sushi roll, and then I'm going to show you how to do the garnish on top. So there's a lot to do. Let's get going. Let's start cooking. Alright, so start off by making a simple sauce. Two simple sauces actually. First sauce is soy sauce, so put 100 milliliters soy sauce and then add 100 milliliters of rice wine vinegar. Now what you want to do is just add some very finely grated ginger, about 15 grams will do. Just going to pop that in there. Okay, perfect. Now a little clove of garlic, you want to crush it. So I'm just going to throw it into this crusher and just press it through. There we go. I just spoon it in. Perfect. Okay, last but not least, a little bit of lemon juice. So I just throw that in, cut lemon in two, and then just squeeze half the lemon in. Okay, make sure none of the seeds fall in because that will give a bitter taste. So make sure none of them fall out. Okay, perfect. Now I'm just going to throw a little bit of Xanthan Gum in there. You can get the same one as I've got here by clicking on the link on the top left corner of your screen. Otherwise, just buy some normal Xanthan Gum and get 2 grams measured out. Now I'm just going to get a blender, and you want to really blend this through. You don't want to whisk it because you need to shear the Xanthan Gum in to work. But don't over blend it because otherwise you get a gooey consistency. So here we go. That should be about enough blending right now. There we go. I'm going to pull this out. Okay, everything's under control. Now put 1 tablespoon of toasted sesame seeds. Make sure they're toasted because they taste so much better. And just mix that in. And then now you add just a drizzle of sesame seed oil. This really is so flavorful, it's amazing. Okay, just mix that in, leave it in the fridge, and then put it into a little squidgy bottle to be able to use later on the sushi roll. Okay, perfect. Moving on. Okay, so now you need some kelpie mayonnaise. Now, if you can't buy this stuff, you can also make it at home by clicking on the link on the top left corner of your screen right now. And you want to just simply add a little bit of truffle oil and just mix it in, taste it. Make sure it's not too overpowering, but make sure there's enough there so you can taste it if you have a very small splodge of stuff. Now just add this into a squidgy bottle and leave it in the fridge also. Voila. Okay. So now we've got the piece of steak. I've got beautiful sirloin here with amazing marbling, a little bit like Wagyu beef, but just not quite. I'm going to cut 2 fingers thick and 4 fingers wide. And I'm going to cut it on the side with less fat. 2 fingers. Okay. Now you want to cut in a single direction and then pull your knife out and then keep cutting in that single direction. It will make it easier than zigzagging. Okay? Perfect. Now just flip it over. Beautiful piece of meat. 2 fingers thick, 4 fingers wide. Now, I'm just going to place this to one side and then season the piece of meat with some smoked sea salt on both sides. Now I've got a searing hot pan on the fire already here, and I'm just going to add some sesame seed oil once the pan is fully heated. And then I'm just going to quickly add my steak onto it. Now you want to sear it about 15 to 20 seconds aside maximum. You don't want to cook this piece of steak. You just want to develop some of the color on the steak and just get some of that Maillard reaction going and just get some amazing burnt smells and tastes and just get that flavor in there. Okay, so just going to put it on the 4 sides. You want to sear. You don't want to sear the 2 end sides because we're going to be cutting it, so there's no point. Okay, so just hold it like that, 15 to 20 seconds on each side. Okay, and basically done. Okay, so once it's done, you want to pull it out and place it on the cutting board just to let it rest a little bit. Perfect. Now we're just going to sear the vegetables. Again, a very hot pan. Add some sesame seed oil. And then you want to get your asparagus, which I've cleaned beforehand, and just cut them and then add them to the pan. Just like this. Okay. Great. Now you take your shimeji mushrooms, these are delicious. and just cut them again. I've pre-washed them and just add them to the pan. There we go. Perfect. Now these shimeji mushrooms, they really cook very quickly, so you really just want to keep moving them around, agitating them, separating them, and so on and so on. Okay, just lowering the temperature to make sure they don't burn. Add a little bit more smoked sea salt. This stuff's awesome. You really want to get smoked sea salt, but if you don't have smoke, just use normal sea salt. Okay, so just keep mixing them around. I love to have both of the things in the pan, just separate. I don't know why, it's weird, but anyway. Keep moving them before they burn, and I'm just going to lower the temperature a little bit more so they don't burn. Now the asparagus is going to take quite a lot longer than the shimeji mushrooms, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so I think the shimeji mushrooms are more or less done right now. I'm just going to pull them out and put them inside this nice little wooden bowl. Now if you want the same wooden bowl, you can actually get it by clicking on the link on the top left of the screen. Okay, so I'm just going to leave the asparagus until they're done. You just touch them just to feel them, and once they're tender, you pull them out and put them in another wooden bowl. Okay, so now that that's done, we're going to assemble the sushi roll. Start off by taking half a sheet of nori and just placing it on the cutting board with the rough side up, and take 120 grams, which is 4 ounces of cooked seasoned sushi rice, and just spread it out lightly over your nori sheet. And don't press it down. Now if you don't know how to make sushi rice, click on the link on the top left of your screen to learn how. Now, once that's fully spread out softly and not pressed down too much, you just take it, flip it around, and put it on a bamboo rolling mat with a plastic bag over it. The plastic bag is so that the rice doesn't stick to the bamboo rolling mat. Now you place your 2 asparagus pieces in opposite directions, and then you place your shimeji mushrooms just next to them, just like this. Now they're a bit oily, so they might be slippery, and just make sure they stay in the sushi roll. Okay, so once that's done, you lift up the back end of the sushi roll, holding in with your fingers the contents, and curl it over. And make sure the sushi roll is closed before you move it forward. See here? Oh, one's trying to get away. There, it's closed. So now I'm just going to move it forwards, press, and then move it forward one more time, and press. And that's how you make it. Now I'm just going to refirm it again, just to make sure it's got the right shape. Oops, please try to escape again. You can eat those. Shimeji mushrooms are so delicious, man. Great stuff. Okay, now just move this to one side and take your steak that you prepared earlier. Okay, perfect. Just gonna wash my hands. Feel a bit sticky from the rice. Okay, now to cut it. You want to start the heel of the knife and move it through the entire piece of steak and just cut like this. Try to cut it in one swooping motion, just like this. You start the heel and you go all the way through the tip of the knife. Now you want a very sharp knife. If you don't have a knife that's sharp enough, check out the link on the top left corner of your screen, which will take you to more information about the knives I use and also how to sharpen knives to get them to be extremely sharp. Okay, so just keep cutting it. That's really enough there for a sushi roll, but I'm just going to keep cutting it to make enough for 2, since I've got enough steak anyway. Okay, just carrying on. Nearly done. Okay, for the last piece, it's really difficult to do it standing up, so just lay it down on the board flat and press with your fingers and just slice through like this. Make sure you don't cut your fingers though, so be careful with that. Okay, so once you're done cutting, just move it to one side. And then just gonna clean the board again. It's important to keep cleaning, otherwise rubbish just starts to pile up. Okay, so just move the sushi roll back to the original position. Okay, dispose of that. And then start by laying your steak cuts just one after the other from one side to the other side. Try to not overlap them, just have them really close to each other. I'm just going to take a different one, now they look great. Okay, so just try to have them one as close to the other one as possible, and just keep going across until you have the entire sushi roll fully covered. Once that's fully covered, I'm going to access the magic drawer to get a piece of cling film. Voila, and just place it on top. Just going to move this to one side, and now you place the bamboo rolling mat on top and fix that steak onto the sushi roll. There we go, perfect. Now you take your knife and just wet it in some water so the rice doesn't stick to it as much. And I'm just going to cut the sides off here, just so that each sushi roll piece is really nice and evenly the same. Okay, once that's done, cut it in half, and then cut the halves into 3 pieces. So we'll have 6 pieces of sushi, and then 2 end pieces. Alright, so just cutting the other half now into 3 pieces. It just takes 2 cuts. There we go. Now just firm it up again so that if anything moved out of place during the cutting, it's back in place. Great. Now take the cling film off, and you dispose of the 2 end pieces into your belly, just like this. Delicious. Okay, so this is how the sushi roll pieces look. Just looking awesome right now. Okay, put that back, and now to plate up. Now you'll notice we've lost 2 pieces because I was a bit hungry. So anyway, this is a wooden board I got from IKEA. Really nice to display food on, and I'm just going to place the sushi rolls in a diagonal line on it. Perfect. Now that looks awesome already, but we're just going to dress it up a little bit and make it better. So to start with, you take a little bit of wasabi and cut the sides off, and then grate it on a shark skin paddle board. If you don't know what wasabi is, you can learn more about it by clicking on the link on the top left corner of your screen right now. It's awesome stuff, and if you've never tried real wasabi, I urge you to give it a go. Although you might regret that. But anyway. Alright, so just keep grating it on the shark skin paddle board, and once you're done grating the wasabi, you just take some pickled ginger and you place it on the cutting board just like this. Then you scoop up your wasabi with your finger and just place it right next to your pickled ginger. Okay, perfect. Now you take some of that sauce you made earlier at the start of the video, which is now in a squidgy bottle, and just spread it lightly over your sushi roll like this. Okay, so now just blowtorch the top with a blowtorch. You want to make sure you have a gas that doesn't have any smells added to it. Otherwise, those smells will be imparted into the food and it'll just be horrible. So just make sure you get a good gas. And just burn the top of it. A little bit of brulee there. Perfect. Now you add some generous quantities of finely chopped spring onions on top of the sushi roll. Just like this. Perfect. Now you take that mayonnaise with truffle oil you made before and just add it to the top of the sushi rolls, a little splodge on top of each sushi roll. You don't want to put too much because otherwise it might overpower the beef. So just, there we go, perfect. And finish it off with a little bit of toasted sesame seeds. Make sure they're toasted because they have much more flavor. And serve this with a little dish of soya sauce. Voila. Hey, so that was the steak tataki sushi roll. Now, it's a delicious sushi roll. I urge you all to try it at home. And if you do, give me some feedback in the comment section below and let me know how it was. I'd love to read that. Now, moving on, the last couple of weeks I've been asking you all some questions to get to know the subscribers a little bit more and understand what you guys are looking for, where you're from, and all sorts of other questions. So, with that in mind, let's move on to this week's question, which is, which of my videos is your favorite video? Now you can just list one, or you can list bullet points of the ones you like the most, and you can just type in the name or just copy and paste the URL and place it in the comment. I'll make sure they don't get trapped in the spam filter or anything like that. Now, with that, then I'll be able to check out what you guys love and then understand what you guys want to see and hopefully make more of that in the future. So with that said, don't forget to check out all my other videos by clicking on the right, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already by clicking on the top left corner of your screen. Also, last but not least, check out my website, makesushi.org. Thank you for watching. I'm Chef Devaux. See you next week. Goodbye.